Good afternoon, or wherever you are. The success of a Dungeons & Dragons game hinges on your ability to entertain the other players at your game table. I completely agree with these words, but I think Wizards of the Coast put them in the wrong book. They appear on page 5 of the Dungeon Master's game guide, but they should appear in the player's handbook, because I think it's equally the responsibility of the players to entertain other players as it is the Dungeon Masters. And by thinking about how you can entertain the Dungeon Master and the other players, you'll be contributing to the overall experience. On that page, they list 7 archetypes of player and activities that a Dungeon Master can present to engage these archetypes. The archetypes are actor, explorer, instigator, fighter, optimizer, problem solver, and storytelling. It's worth considering what style your Dungeon Master is as well, or what style he is wanting to play in this session or at this moment, to work out what style of play you should bring to the table. An actor DM comes to life when they are playing the NPCs. They use animated voices and accents, and their NPCs have deep and realistic characters and backgrounds. And you should respond by playing your own PCs with a voice, an accent, and don't just say what you'll say, but actually act out your conversations with NPCs. That will engage an actor DM. An explorer DM, on the other hand, has developed a rich and detailed setting for you to play in and explore. Get to know the world, the countries, the cultures, the settings, and become part of that world. And that will really reward the DM for the effort that they put in, and make the setting and the memorable and the world that you're playing in much more memorable and real, and probably contribute to your enjoyment of the game. An instigator DM loves to improvise and respond to the unexpected things that players throw at them. Engage instigators by surprising them, by taking unexpected turns. These surprises may come from the players. My aunt lives in this village. She may be able to tell us something about this mystery. But remember that the GM is the ultimate authority, and they can overrule you on these things. Or be ready to respond if the GM throws something at you. In one of Michael Barker's Be a Better Game Masters games, he just turned to a player and said, "What's the name of this tavern?" And they had to think on the spot of a tavern, and they came up with a very good one. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but be ready to respond, think creatively, and take the plot off on unexpected directions to entertain an instigator. A fighter DM loves heroic combat. He wants his PCs, his heroes, to be badasses and to dominate combat. So combat is a very important part of these games, and characterization or plot development is less important. Respond by being a badass. Describe your bloody actions in vivid detail, and basically be brave, brutal, and bloody. An optimizer DM, an optimizer or power gamer knows the rules and uses it to create the strongest possible players. A GM will do that by taking full advantages of all the characteristics of the monsters or opponents you'll be playing against. Don't expect your opponents to come and close in on your barbarian fighter. If they can fly, they'll stay off at a distance. If they have long distance dark vision, you may never even see them. There may just be arrows appearing out of the darkness and be impossible to close down. Think when you're playing with an optimizer DM, the knowledge of tactics and thinking tactically and how to optimize your advantages and undermine the the advantages of your opponents is the key to success. It's a very strategic and tactical game that you'll be playing, and it can be enjoyable. Some people hate this kind of thing because it requires good knowledge of the rules, but it can be a very enjoyable game. Don't take my word for it. Take Nelson, the Totally Immersed Power Gamers, word for it too, or many others. The Problem Solver DM also requires their players to think, but this is less knowledge of the game rules, of tactics, and how to respond to the circumstances, and more to see the wheels within wheels that are turning behind the scenes. Nothing is obvious. You need to listen very carefully to everything this kind of DM describes, remember details, investigate and ask intelligent questions, both directly, you explore and investigate traps, and indirectly you ask the PCs and try to find out more information, to find out what is really going on and avoid an unexpected twist. A storyteller GM loves to build atmosphere, setting, and character through rich language. Their games can be like a novel or a radio play as they lead a collective imagination of the group along an amazing journey. Immersion is the goal here. Respond to this type of play by narrating your actions and intentions and keeping mechanics to a minimum. So instead of saying, I move 25 feet to this square and attack this goblin, say something like, Dreadlock's bouncing as he runs, Gel the Half-Orc closes swiftly on the goblin archer. As the creature quivers before him, he raises Gravebriar and brings it crashing down a 3. It bounces ineffectively off the goblin's shield. Players and DMs are not just one archetype, though. For example, Michael Barker is a great narrator, but he also likes instigators. He likes unexpected twists. And Nelson is the Totally Immersed Power Gamer. There are many different archetypes, and a good session will involve many or even all of these play styles. And the more styles of play you can develop, the better a rounded role player you will be, and the more varied and interesting your sessions will be. And if the more varied and interesting, the better your gaming experience. So while you'll definitely have a preference, try to develop your skills in all areas of play to make for a rounded gaming experience which is enjoyable for all styles of gamers. My name's Caius. I love Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games, and I hope to see you in a game in the One Shot group in the future. Thank you.